Hello, my name is Rob McLean, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the Connected Boat series of screencasts. This initiative began as a seminar that I delivered for fellow boaters in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada. On the one hand, I'm a traditionalist. Most of my boats have been wooden, and I currently sail a gaff-rigged, square-sailed schooner. On the other hand, I've become fascinated by modern marine electronics and have done a fair bit of research in that field, initially to help make decisions about equipment for my own boats. Having accumulated a fair bit of knowledge, I decided it would be fun to share it with other boaters. Here's the series of screencasts. I'm recording each topic as a separate screencast to keep each one reasonably short and enable participants to individually select the ones they're interested in. We'll cover major trends in boat electronics, boat networking, AIS, Wi-Fi, multifunction displays, marine weather radar, multifunction marine apps on mobile devices and PCs, EPIRBs and personal beacons, remote boat monitoring, open boat initiatives, and future-proofing your boat. On the Learn to Cruise online site, you will find a forum that is available for registered users to comment on any of the topics in the series. If there's anything you hear that you want to ask about, please join in the conversation. My boating background began from the age of 4 when I fell in love with sailing. That's me in an old dead boat on the shores of Kawaja Beach in Georgian Bay. In the early 80s, I got involved with a keelboat, a 1948 Danish folk boat. In 2001, I got involved with a 1962 Colin Archer wooden ketch. A friend of mine and I rescued a 1970 Grand Banks trawler in 2010 that was rotting away, and it's almost back into a reasonably good shape. And in 2014, my partner and I acquired a 62-foot Thomas Colvin schooner. We brought it up from Florida to Cobourg and are poised for ongoing, continuing adventures. Of course, throughout that period, there were major developments in marine electronics. I began being more interested in that in the late 90s as I acquired my VHF license and then my amateur radio license, and have continued to get more and more involved over the course of the last 15 years. One of the things that I find fascinating is the sheer number of radios that are all around us, although we don't necessarily think of them as radios. Here's a summary of the radio-based devices on Interlude, plus the number of radios that are actually in each device. As you can see, we're closing in on 19 devices, soon to be well over 20. And in terms of the radios in those devices, we're currently at 31, heading for 35. If you have a smartphone, there's likely at least 3 radios in the device: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the radio that powers the connection to the cell network. So with all of that radio around us, it's just we're basically surrounded by them, and that trend will continue. Finally, a few disclaimers about the content that you'll hear in these screencasts. I'm not promoting any particular marine manufacturer. I don't have any conflict of interest in that respect. I'm happy to tell you about my personal experiences with equipment, some of which proved to be durable and effective, and some of it didn't survive the marine environment. And I'm happy to indicate specifically which devices that I've worked with that fall into each category. Whenever possible, I'll mention examples of different types of gear, but I can't be comprehensive and identify every possible variation of different types of gear. Unless it's something I have personal experience with, examples are illustrative and don't indicate a preference for any manufacturer or brand. In addition, I'm an Apple-centric person, have been since '84. I don't live in the Windows world, so I will likely be mentioning Apple devices and mobile devices more often, but in most cases similar observations will apply to PCs, Androids, and so on. And a final comment, if you're outfitting a new boat, it's often difficult to avoid getting kind of overwhelmed or feel you have to do everything at once. Once you become aware of all the choices that are out there. So my caution is, don't feel that way. Enjoy the journey, take your time, and plan it carefully. So that ends the introduction. I look forward to seeing you on the next screencast.